Hi guys, I hope it's not too noisy. They're butchering one of my trees down there. They call themselves tree surgeons, but they're not tree surgeons, they're tree fucking butchers. I expect this to do with the fifth generation that complained, but they said that the council told them it was getting too near one of the houses. I think it's bullshit. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Bible stories today. So, the Old Testament, which is not Jewish at all, by the way, it's Hebrew. Well, it's Adamic, it's atomic, all is atum. It's very old, it's Gnostic, even before that, Babylonian, Sumerian, you name it. So the Old Testament is a book on how to raise your Kundalini, how to be enlightened, okay? And the New Testament is the story of you and how to be healthy throughout your life. It's a book of health, really. So since there is only 4 root races, black, white, yellow and red, everything else is mongrel, there is no Muslim, there is no Arab race, there is no Jewish race, there is no Christian race. It's all absolute bullshit. Those words were usurped when they have a completely different meaning by the Canaanites, who completely destroyed the meaning of what all this really means. Okay, so let me explain to you. We have a left and right brain. Okay, I wouldn't say it's the mother or the father, but would definitely say the left brain is masculine and the right brain is feminine. Okay, so when you're too much into your left brain, obviously you're not balanced. It's kind of you're too male, too bloodthirsty, too warmongering, to the point that you can become a complete psychopath. Okay, and when you're too much in your right brain, then you become like bending over, gay, bending over for the master, completely new age nonsense, oh love, you know. And the truth is in the middle, of course. Yeah, but however, this is why they always say you have to go right. Okay, you always have to go through the feminine before you can go back to the Godhead. Okay, so what that means, oh yeah, so first of all let me explain. The left brain is also called the Semitic brain. Okay, that is where the Semites come from, the left brain. So anyone that is in the left brain is a Semite. Has nothing to do with race whatsoever. Okay, the Canaanites are the left brain, the Semites are the left brain, the Pharisees are the left brain, but really it was always called the Semitic part of the brain. Okay, and then the right side of the brain is the Aryan part of the brain. Again, there is no Aryan race, no Semitic race. The Aryan brain is the feminine brain. So it doesn't matter whether you're black, yellow, red, whatever human being you are, you can be an Aryan or a Semite, or you can be somewhere in the middle, which is called a Jew. A true Jew. Again, there is no Jewish race, so nobody can claim to be a Jew because that doesn't exist unless you are a complete balanced person. So to go back to the Godhead, you have to go, if you're in your Semitic brain, you have to go into the Aryan race to rebalance yourself. And then from the Aryan race, when you get rebalanced, you're in the true center, you're in the heart, and then you can raise your Kundalini, go back to the Godhead. And then you become what is called a true Jew. Jewel in the crown. Okay, you go back to the pineal gland and beyond. Okay, so there is no Aryan race. It's all bullshit. And any black people, any white people, any Chinese, anyone can be an Aryan. That's also what you know, the Germans and their leader back in World War II was all about. It had nothing to do with race. This is where people confuse the whole thing. So the Freemasons, the Talmudics and so on have confused the issue. The Canaanites have confused the issue on purpose. They've turned everything into a race to make people what? Racist. Okay? Which is complete bullshit. There is only one human race. Okay? Also racing means running, yeah? So it's all fucking bullshit. You know, there is, forget about the race thing. It doesn't fucking matter. You're either in your left brain, your right brain, or you're healed and you're somewhere in the middle. Okay, but you have to always go via the Aryan part of your brain. So if you're already in the Aryan part of your brain, you can rebalance. All you need to do is rebalance yourself to be a true jewel in God's crown. If you're here in the Semitic brain, you cannot go straight and become a true Jew. You have to go via the Aryan brain before you can rise up, okay? So this is how it works, people. So I will post a video of Santos Bonacci underneath, which talks about how the brain really works, and how all the stories as a child that you've had is so connected to what we're made of, and what we need to do to raise our Kundalini, basically. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. There was something else I wanted to talk about, but I've just forgotten, so I might have to do another video about it. But it's really important that we know these things, because the truth is out there. Those holy books, even the Vedas, they all have exactly the same thing. In the Vedas, there is also two different tribes, the Aryan tribe and the Semitic tribe. They call it something else, but it has nothing to do with race. It doesn't matter what you are, okay? So, as I said, there's only 4 root races, and who cares anyway? And everything else is a mongrel, okay? Like the Japanese look like they're half Chinese and half white. It's pretty obvious to me. And it doesn't matter. It's all complete nonsense. Who cares, you know? However, you have to remember that when you start mixing races, the only issue you may have, and this is why in Germany, with their leader during World War II, they weren't so keen on mixed racing. And I tell you why. It has nothing to do with racism whatsoever. It all has to do with the fact that each culture is different, okay? So if you start having a relationship with someone whose culture is completely different, let's say you're a Christian woman, you know, a white Christian woman, and then you go out with a black person who comes from a tribe or something, and your cultures are so different. First of all, where are you going to go and live? You know, the black person might want to stay in their tribe, and then you might want to stay, I don't know, in France, where you come from. So where are you going to live? And those marriages, it's much harder for them to work because of the differences between cultures. So I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with, you know, with mixed races, as long as you have a perfect understanding, or you have a very similar culture. Obviously, a lot of black people now that live in the West have adapted, so it doesn't matter anymore, right? So that's something I'm just saying. It's about cultures. Mixing cultures can be a little bit tricky, because it usually ends up in divorce, or it's where you're going to go live, especially if you don't live in the same country. If one of you fall in love with somebody that lives somewhere else and his culture is completely different from you, it's unlikely to work. And the whole point is to try and have a relationship that lasts forever, basically. You know, it's about the sacred marriage. So that's what I wanted to talk about, because, you know, people, you know, always think about race is fucking bullshit. There is no racism in my life whatsoever, but it's about just being a bit more intelligent about what we do in our life, you know. You know, actually my first boyfriend in France was a black person, yeah, but I was only 14, and, you know, I think his family had been in France a long time, and anyway, I was only 14, and we actually got on really, really well. That has nothing to do with race. It's just got to do with culture. It has to do with culture. Do you understand? That's what it has to do with. And there's morons and idiots in all races, and there's beautiful people in all races. Do you understand? So my message to Black Lives Matter is stop your fucking bullshit, because all lives matter. To the government, no lives matter. This is what it's all about. And George Soros, the pedo cannibal, is the one behind Black Lives Matter. So if you support this bullshit, I would fucking think twice before you take the fucking money and join these fucking bullshit people. All right, lots of love. Bye.